My name's Sarah Hogan. I'm a team manager in a child protection and court team for Bath and North East Somerset. I supervise 2 deputy team managers who have line management responsibility for approximately 6 to 8 social workers. My overriding position in that team is to support the deputy team managers and to have general oversight of the families and the children that we're working with, to look at performance, to consider kind of what additional support or input we may need as a team in order to kind of meet our objectives. I previously lived in London for 8.5 years in the midst of the kind of hustle and bustle of a huge city, and so then making that decision to leave there was a difficult decision. I think what really drew me to the southwest was predominantly, I think, the fact that it's kind of country living but near a city. I don't feel so isolated, and so I can kind of have those quiet moments, but also the city and hustle and bustle of life that I also want in my life is kind of nearby. So when I was doing research into kind of job opportunities in the southwest, I was particularly drawn to Bath and North East Somerset, having read their Ofsted report, which to me showed that they were a local authority who were trying to create changes. And they had a lot of ideas and initiatives which kind of drew me to this local authority and applying for a post here in the assessment and intervention team.
There's lots of training in B&NES, and we get sort of regular notifications by email, lots particularly for the newly qualified social workers, but also there's training specifically for managers, such as how to deal with complaints and things like that.
It's been a really supportive local authority in terms of career progression and helping me develop my skills. But I also think that in general we're a kind of cohesive organisation in terms of children's social care. Relationships between teams are really positive and really strong. The biggest part of my day is about supporting staff in doing their jobs and doing them well, and supporting them to kind of think about how they might approach things differently, and to be there practically but also emotionally.
You never know what's going to come through the door every morning, so you know, you've got your planned meetings in, supervisions with staff, but also there are emergencies that crop up all the time, so it's very varied and interesting work.
Often things can change on an hour-to-hour basis, which is what draws me to the job that I do and why I've done it for the time I have. I think social work in general is like that for many people. So you kind of come in thinking this is my plan, this is what I'm going to be approaching today, but that can change, and so it's about being quite adaptable and looking at what you can move around within your diary. But the majority of the time my day starts and ends at the office. So I currently am based in the Civic Centre in Cambridgeshire. It's a really pleasant atmosphere to work in terms of kind of it feels spacious, light and airy.
And because we're all in one area, you know, we're very close, so we know what's going on in the teams.
I think B&NES is an extremely good local authority to come to, especially for new managers. I think what I've seen over the 2 years that I've been here is that deputy team managers become team managers, so they've really looked at progression of staff and invested in them to prepare them for that next step of their career. So I think B&NES is definitely a place where I am glad I started my management career in.
If anyone were considering applying for a role here as a team manager, I would say go for it, because you get really good training, supervision, good facilities and very good support.